reason St. John Neumann ended up in the United States was because they weren't ordaining anybody else in the Czech Republic at this point. At the point he wanted to be ordained, there were too many. There were too many priests. So he came to the United States. And you've got to think he had to have just really questioned his vocation, at least privately, when he was told he couldn't be ordained, and it had nothing to do with his qualifications or his devotion. And I think that's a good reminder for us that when the church lets us down, when people let us down, when our job lets us down, God never does. And there's an opening there somewhere. And in the case of St. John Neumann, it was to come to the United States, and we're all blessed by that. But and in the case of Marcus of China, it was to keep going to church, even though he was not allowed to participate in the Eucharist, because his love for God was so strong. He couldn't put that aside. He wouldn't put that aside. I think that's the thing too. There are saints. The great Oscar Wilde quote: "Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future." And I think there are a lot of people in this book who illustrate that. Don't judge somebody on who they were yesterday. Hope and believe in who they'll be today. And there are some saints who didn't do their best. Sometimes they were weak. They got into fights with people. There's one saint, and his name escapes me, but who actually worked for an antipope for a while, and ultimately didn't. But ultimately left. But the person who was the antipope had been his friend. You think about some of the martyrs of England and Wales. And Thomas More, who we all know. Thomas More didn't go looking to be a hero. Thomas More would have been perfectly happy to die in his bed. Thomas More probably would have been happy had it not been for Henry's insistence on, marrying Anne Boleyn. Thomas More probably would have been very, very happy staying at court and being kind of a power broker. But that couldn't happen. John Fisher probably would have been very happy to stay in the position he was in, but that small, still voice inside said he couldn't. And it's important to listen to that small, still voice. And if you don't listen to it today, God's not going to hate you. He's going to grieve, but he's not going to hate you. But please listen to it tomorrow and believe that everyone else you encounter has that potential, that they too are a saint in the making.